All right, man. Get a lot of questions about, with the Pistons rebuilding, what that really means for Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose. Let's talk a little bit about it. Be back. More to see Sports Talk in the building. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the videos. Appreciate the love, support. Riding through the bumpy roads of Detroit, Michigan. But yeah, I kind of talked about Dwayne Casey. If you didn't see the video, my whole stance on it is I think Dwayne Casey, real quick, should move on. You know what I'm saying? I think they should find a younger coach that can build and grow with a younger team. Not saying that that's right or it's wrong. It's just my opinion. But if Dwayne Casey still stay here, I don't have an issue with it. This team gonna be bad for a long time. I just don't really agree with his execution at all. I don't. With the execution of the team, I don't agree with the blueprint, the offense. He just don't seem to be, have a good system in place like a Popovich or Steve Kerr and some of the ball movements that I accustomed to like. Not even no Princeton style, type of principles or old Bobby Knight offense type principles. It's just that he just mimicking off what other coaches do is isolation basketball, maybe a pick and roll. Somebody penetrate and create. I just don't like the vision for the basketball team. But that's my opinion. Some people might like the version of basketball they playing here, but I would replace him with somebody younger. That's what I thought they should have did before. But Dwayne Casey was brought here to win now. So I think they need to get a younger coach. They got some great ideas. They need to go like the Luke Walton, route, what the Lakers tried to do, and eventually they went from marinating to winning now with LeBron, and he didn't fit that no more. So, this is my humble opinion. But with Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose, Blake Griffin to be exact, the worst case scenario for Blake Griffin here is playing out his contract and being a big homie in the locker room, being an elder statesman in the locker room. That is the worst case scenario for Blake Griffin, where I think he got 2 more years left on his contract. It almost creeps up to $38 million. But I think that's the worst case scenario. You see him hanging around, nurturing the young guys, helping the young guys grow in the locker room. Teaching them what it is to be a pro on and off the court. And I truly think that is, the worst case scenario. He plays out his contract here, and and eventually the money come off the books, and I speak on that more. Probably the best case scenario in most people's minds is he get healthy, and probably by next All-Star break, he completely healthy. He jumping around, he balling like he used to ball, facilitating, and a team believe that, okay, we can manage Blake Griffin a little bit like Kawhi Leonard or like Popovich did with Tim Duncan, and we can get the most out of Blake, and he can be the final piece if he get back to, what he was looking like before, last All-Star break. And then the Pistons can move him, the type of deal they may get for him, man. I really can't call it, but I don't see a scenario in which they get equal value for Blake Griffin. I don't see a scenario where whatever they gave up for Blake Griffin, Tobias Harris, and some picks, I don't think they're gonna get that value. I think if anything, the value gonna come back from Blake Griffin. It's gonna be like an Andre Drummond trade where they can shed that money off the cap, and people gonna be, this all we got for Blake, and this and that and the third. But ain't nobody in a rush to pay a guy almost $40 million per year for the next 2 seasons. A guy that got shot knees, a guy that can't stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? A guy that's not a premier position in the wing. He's still a big guy. He do some wing caliber things, but I don't think nobody gonna be in a rush to pay him that type of money. And that's my opinion. And I think you may see a deal similar to Andre Drummond if Blake Griffin get out of here, where you bring back 2 guys that got expiring contracts, maybe a second-round pick, and you just shedding money off. And that leads me to go back about the big homie thing. And if that's the case, unless they don't really want to pay nobody, there's really no rush to get rid of Blake Griffin then. The rush to get rid of Blake Griffin is it was last trade deadline where you could have got something for him, or you could have got some expiring contracts for him, and you could have played Andre Drummond this summer. And I'm telling you, had they been able to get rid of Blake Griffin contract and clear that money up, I think Andre Drummond would have stayed. Yep, Andre Drummond probably would have stayed and would have stayed in Detroit, But they didn't want to pay 2 guys almost $40 million per year. So that's understandable. Same reason why Chris Paul can't get moved from Oklahoma. Nobody want to pay an Asian superstar that's injury prone, and that's what him and Blake Griffin was known for in the Clippers when they was even younger. That type of money. So it's a scenario where you may see Blake Griffin play his contract out, and they just shed the money off the cap, in a couple years. And to me, that may be the best thing, because you need vets in the locker room like Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin, especially guys that been at the highest point in the league, and you really trying to help some of these dudes grow. You trying to show them what it's like to be a star or be an NBA player on and off the court. How to prepare, how to watch film, how to conduct yourself when coaches don't see them, what to do with your free time, how to eat the right way, not to eat the bull job, how to stay focused, how to train. You got to develop those relationships, and those veteran players are very, very valuable in the league. You can't just have a young team with 15 young guys and going to play. You're going to lose every game. And on top of that, I know people talking about, yeah, we should tank, but you don't want to lose like that and then don't build no morale up. With veterans there, they build morale up. They instill confidence. They instill discipline. They do all the things. They kind of like the coaches on the floor. So with Blake Griffin, I think the best case scenario is him to be here to be the big homie. Because even if you clear that money off, let's just say they can clear the money off and trade Blake Griffin in the offseason like they did Drummond, and just get some expiring contracts. The next free agent period, they clear the money off. They clear the cap, and then now they got about 60, 70 million under the cap, or some crazy number like that, right? This is a hypothetical. Who gonna come to Detroit? The reason you get guys to come to Detroit is you overpay them, which you don't want to overpay a player that that really ain't worth max money. But how you actually get the guys there, the Steph Currys, the Klay Thompsons, the Draymond, you draft them, or you put the pieces around and play. Where people say, okay, Detroit, now Diambo, and let's say they get another dude, the Killian guy from Germany, wherever you playing at, or they get a LaMelo Ball or James Wiseman, and they put a few young pieces around them, and now Diambo, Christian Woods looking good. You get a young wing to look good, and now the Pistons is in a couple years trending in the right direction, where they fighting for the A spot now. Now they getting into the A spot. Now veterans look here like, I might be the missing piece to take this young team over the hump. Now the team is attractive because they got young talent. But, with Blake Griffin, I think his role with the Pistons is going to be being a big homie, being an elder statesman, whatever you want to call them, and helping these dudes find their way. You know what I'm saying? And when this money come off the cap, the Pistons should have some guys that's developing, and then they should be an attractive destination for guys that want to come and win, and kind of add a few pieces, and now they can start competing for the East, because the way the league going now, anything can happen. A lot of the teams at the top, those guys are older, so you want to be the young team on the block, the young killers on the block. But with Derrick Rose, I think his role can be similar. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, people want to see Derrick Rose win, but I do think Derrick Rose is comfortable being close to Chicago. His nephew played at the University of Detroit Mercy. I think he want to be close to his family. I think he want to be close to Chicago, and I do think that's the God honest truth. I think he's comfortable here, but you're not paying him a lot of money. I know people say he came here to win a championship. Everybody know that was a joking matter. Pistons wasn't nowhere close to being a championship caliber team with Drummond and Blake Griffin being healthy. But his role may be the same thing, where he just played a veteran role. He helped mold the next young point guard they deem to be next up, and he kind of be like that coach, that extension off the court. The extension of coaching on the court. And I think he may be on the same role as Blake Griffin for the next season and a half. They may shut him down for the majority of the second half of the season. And people say, why? It's because they're trying to tank and get better odds to win the lottery. And we know the lottery rigged, and they probably never let the Pistons get the #1 pick. But, that's the only way you really can build, is get up there and hopefully somebody pick, a Greg Oden type, and a Kevin Durant fall to you. But you see, Marvin Bagley and Trae Young and Doncic, they went pretty late in the draft. So it's always hope. The top of the draft and the drafts are getting better and deeper and richer with some of the young talent coming in. But I do think Derrick Rose, his fate is similar. Now, can they buy him out and let him go to a team that he wants to? Yeah, but I do think he's comfortable here. I think he getting free will to play. I think he putting up great numbers, the numbers that he want to put up. So I think Derrick Rose is happy. I don't think the #1 priority for Derrick Rose is to win right now. So, obviously you want to win, but I think he's comfortable being close to home, being close to his nephew. So I do think Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose are going to be two of the guys that just help groom the younger generation coming in Detroit. They're not going, I don't think anybody, will want Blake Griffin contract right now. Now, Blake Griffin come back next year and show that the knee injury was just a minor setback, and he come out and he a top 5 MVP candidate, then you may see a situation where things may change. Somebody might want to give up a first-round draft pick. Somebody might want to give up a couple players they use, but Oklahoma City Thunder having the same thing going on with Chris Paul. It's hard to move that $40 million contract when his history is injury. And Chris Paul has been fairly healthy this year. It's funny, all the years that, if he was healthy and him and Blake Griffin could have really made a push for the NBA Finals or the Western Conference Finals and got over that hump, or Houston could have used him that one year they could have beat Golden State, and, now all of a sudden he healthy for a season, and in most people's mind, it don't even count. Very, very unfortunate, man, but, it's the game. Everybody got this 2K fantasy, which 2K is trash these days. The last couple of them been trash. I don't think I'm going to buy them no more. I didn't buy it this year, but they've been trash. But everybody got this facade where, you're supposed to get equal value for guys like Drummond and Blake Griffin, and the NBA don't work that way. The way people in Detroit value Blake Griffin or value Andre Drummond is not the same way somebody in Orlando or LA, would value him. And that's just the God honest truth. The league is going into another direction. And nobody want to take on these players that's not being the wave of the future. The NBA is now like the NCAA tournament. And what they say about the NCAA tournament is guards take over the NCAA tournament. It's a guard tournament. And the NBA is just like the NFL. It mimicked what the NCAA football doing. Spread, read option. Now the NBA is the same thing. The NBA is now a guard and wing league. That's why all your big men play like guards and wings. That's what they want to morph the game into. They want to make the NBA try so hard to make the game what it once was when Magic and Bird took it to new heights. What Jordan was when he took it to new heights. They trying to, I don't want to say rig, but they trying to really fix the game, which is the same thing. They really trying to fix the game where it's more appealing. Same thing with NFL. That's why you can't touch the receivers and the defensive receivers. It ain't about player safety. They want the games to be 150 to 150. In the NFL, they want it to be 40 to 40. They want those type of games. They don't think fans want to see defense. But fans just want to see classic competitive games. But NBA is probably the sport furthest away from an organic outcome. Excuse me. It's the furthest thing away. They really trying to artificially alter basketball. And I've been watching basketball for over 25 years. That was my first love, was hooping. And now they artificially trying to change the game to something that it ain't. And now big man, they trying to, just delete the big man. So Blake Griffin don't have that value no more. Now Derrick Rose have more value than Blake Griffin, believe it or not. Derrick Rose can give you something off the bench. He that guard that can get and penetrate and get his own bucket. Derrick Rose value is way more higher in the market. His contract is more digestible. His game is still, what he's doing now is still fit to what today's game is. You don't have to be it ain't no more point guards today. Chris Paul is a dying breed. Chris Paul and Rondo are dying breeds in the NBA. The NBA is all about combo guards and wings. You know what I'm saying? And stretch fours and stretch fives. That's what it's about. It's not about back to the basket. It's not about, the old John Stockton. It's not about what Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson type dudes no more. It ain't about that no more. That's why a lot of people sour on Ben Simmons. Everybody believe if you can't shoot the rock, you can't play in today's league. It's not true. It's not true. And they say, oh, this guy couldn't play in today's league, or that guy couldn't play in today's league. Man, let me tell you this, man. Kind of get into some overtime talk. If in your lifetime, if you go out there and you put a starting lineup like Houston Rockets put out there with a 6'5" P.J. Tucker or 6'8", 6'7" Robert Covington guarding the center, or you doing switches and you putting Westbrook on them, please believe Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, they getting 40-20 easy. Shaquille O'Neal getting 50-50. Ain't no 32-10, whatever Anthony Davis got. Shaquille O'Neal fouling every person out on the Houston Rockets. Young Shaq, Laker Shaq, whatever you want to say. He going for 50-50. And he might go out there and get you about 10 or 12 blocks. But that's not today's game. They don't want the back to the basket dude no more. Michael Jordan changed that stuff. Michael Jordan took the game from a guard game to a big man game to a guard game. Same thing when they said Floyd Mayweather took it away from the heavyweights. He made boxing about the smaller guy. That's it. That's why you see Carl Anthony Towns in the three-point line. And we had those guys like Sam Perkins at one point that did that. And we had a few guys that played like that back in the day. They could stretch it out to the three-point land. But Blake Griffin, even though he kind of morphed his game to kind of, be like the Anthony Davises and stuff of that nature, and he fit, but he old. And his contract is so ugly right now, bro. It's so ugly. And the league is just changing, and the Pistons just took a bad deal from the Clippers. But Derrick Rose, combo guard, is today's guard. He still fit, even if he only can give you 20 minutes off the bench. So he always gonna have value as long as he's healthy. And so I do think the Pistons gonna have an easier time trading Andre. Real talk, they're gonna have an easier time trading Derrick than Blake. So I wouldn't expect Blake Griffin to be traded. I would expect him to play his contract out, or when his contract is in the last year, maybe the Pistons pull off a deal to try to get something for him. But if they do move Blake Griffin, it's gonna be closer to an Andre Drummond type of deal than a deal that some other people kind of anticipating. So, that is what it is, man. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Keep sharing the videos, man. Other than that, check out our Detroit Pistons playlist, Lion playlist, live stream playlist. I'm pretty much contemplating on going live tonight. I may go live. Kind of feeling good enough to go live. It'll probably be some Lions talk, and I continue to catch up with the Pistons, man. But let me know what you guys think. Ever got a video request? All my social medias in the description, from Facebook to Instagram, Twitter. My email there as well if you ever want to contact me. Got a question, inquiry, sponsorship, or whatever the situation may be. All my information is in the description. Want to make a donation, Cash App, PayPal, all that's in the description. And like I said before, I do appreciate everybody for showing love, man. The best love you can do is just share the video and get the brand out there, man. But hey, y'all know what it is. One time for the one time. Mercy Sports talking to y'all.